to episode 83 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And I'm special guest Jacob Hamill.
Special guest. I don't know. You're here often enough. I don't know. Your specialness is wearing off. You're just becoming
just
a guest.
Damn.
Yeah. I think you're still
That
you're still in the special guest territory, but I'm just letting you know that ship is starting to sail. At this point, Will would be a special guest at this point.
That's true. I gotta disappear for a while.
Yeah. Just sink into the shadow. No, please don't. The podcast is way better when we have you or Will. We have a lot of games to talk about, but first, it's Super Bowl Sunday. By the time people are listening to this, it's going to already be in the past. So, Jeff, make yourself look like a genius. Who's going to win?
Rams.
I
believe.
I so hope you're right, but history has made me pick the Patriots.
True. Rams aren't an NFC East team.
But I do think there is a small chance, but not enough people are giving this credit. I do think Maroon 5 might be able to win. I do think they could win the game.
They have a special song in the lineup. I don't know if anyone knows about that.
Jeff told me earlier, so it has been spoiled for me. But
he asked for it. I didn't do it.
Yeah, he did. I did. Or I did. Yeah. We'll see. We will see. Go Rams. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
But more importantly, Jeff, you've played Kingdom Hearts 3 for multiple days now, and you beat it.
I beat it
already in 3 days.
Beat it Friday.
And a little peek ahead, Jacob's been playing RE2 Remake.
Yes.
We will be talking about that in a little bit. And I am so close to beating Persona 5. I can taste it. I have put that game away really quickly by my standards this month. So we gonna talk about all of that.
I guess we wanted to for visual flair. I could have got some of my Kingdom Hearts stuff I brought. I got my case and stuff.
You should have dressed like Sora.
I mean, I can go get it while you
it
talk
should be
about it.
at the very top of that.
All right, you start talking about Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'll get the.
So Jeff, did you get Norded?
Everyone Norded.
Oh no, I just love that term Norded.
All that's Kingdom Hearts. I got the special edition. I was kind of little art buck.
I guess so. For people who don't know, Jeff, can you explain what Norded means?
It pretty much means you get a piece of Xehanort's heart and your eyes turn yellow.
Yeah, so you pretty much become like a Horcrux.
Yeah,
more or less.
Better Tim Geddes couldn't even say that when he was asked what Norden meant.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people who like Kingdom Hearts not know what any of that means.
Yeah, it's kind of just, I guess, a tangent for the kind of funny thing when they didn't get a code. Greg was like, yeah, Tim Geddes is known as a Kingdom Hearts guy. I'm like, is he? There are lots of people I think that are big Kingdom Hearts, but before I get to Tim. No offense to him. I know he likes it. Not everyone has
He's
to
not
be.
A real fan.
I'm not saying that, but he's not like a mega fan.
I don't even know the guy. Look at this.
Yeah.
Merch
I guess
placement.
if you're an audio listener, this means nothing to you, but I got the special edition. I was pleasantly surprised it came with a regular case with disc in, and then it came with a steel case separate.
He has 3 different things here. It's a lot.
It also came with a little pin. I just didn't bring that.
Cool.
So
cool.
I think I read somewhere that actually in the I guess early concept designs for Sora, they had him dual wielding chainsaws.
What?
Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
I might have kept up with Kingdom Hearts if that was.
I want to live in the alternate
And
universe.
I'm pretty
where
sure
that
he's supposed to be
happens.
like a lion man. He was supposed to at least have a tail.
Okay.
I mean, to more fit in with the Disney stuff.
Interesting.
But chainsaws.
Instead, they just gave him gigantic clown feet.
Well, that's the Disney part of it.
Well, Jeff, you've been waiting for this for how many years now?
I don't know.
I
What
can't
has it
keep
been?
track of
13 since it came out here?
Yeah.
I didn't realize until a lot later. I didn't play it that long after it came out. Thought I waited a few years, but I think it might have been later that summer. I don't know. Or later that year.
Yeah, over a decade, which is pretty wild to wait for that. So people know, getting into this discussion, what is your Kingdom Hearts history? Have you played everything? All of the little side stuff?
I have not played Recoded.
Which one is that?
It's like a mobile game. I think it's on DS or 3DS or something as well. It's pretty much mainly a kind of weird retelling of the first game. If you're not gonna look at anything, if you're gonna skip a Kingdom Hearts game
that's
entirely,
the one to do.
That's the one to do.
Right.
I haven't played too much of the mobile game, but I've looked at all the lore, which, spoiler alert, is actually decently important for this game. I think I played at least everything else.
Okay.
Everything major.
So you're pretty deep into
Pretty deep into it
all
all.
this.
Yeah.
So
I know now it's pretty easy to dive into all the games because they have that story so far collection.
Oh yeah, everything is on PS4 right now. For some reason, not on Xbox One, despite the game being on Xbox
Yeah.
One. But yeah, not all the games are playable. Like
I know 358 over 2 days.
Yeah.
That's like just the cutscenes.
there's just the cutscenes, and there's at least another one that has just cutscenes. I think Recoded might just be cutscenes.
Yeah, but
So.
if you want to experience the story so far, it's pretty easy to do so.
Well,
You don't have to dig out like a PSP.
that's a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, what are your opinions?
Yeah. How is it, Jeff?
I love it. It's a lot of what people have wanted a lot of the years, though. If I know, Darby has no reason to look into this, and I know Jacob's planning on playing at some point. He's probably avoiding stuff.
Yeah.
There are some people that are kind of disappointed as far as story stuff goes. Not going to get into that, obviously. Going to try to keep this spoiler free as possible. But overall, I enjoy the story. This isn't a spoiler. He pretty much said it wraps up the Xehanort Darkseeker whatever saga.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, it wraps up that, but also, not going to say how, sets up for future stuff. So, spoiler, we're getting under Kingdom Hearts games.
Right, and
No,
that's fine. Like they can set up for potential sequels, but as long as the story that was set up in one is resolved for the most part,
Right.
then,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
After this much time and from how
It would
deep
be,
it seems like it went, it's probably ready to. It's time to.
I can imagine the
Come to a
outrage if it
conclusion.
ended on like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Just, but how's
So-
the gameplay? Because in Kingdom Hearts 1, I think the gameplay it didn't age too well, but Kingdom Hearts 2
No.
I think still plays really well. How's this?
Yeah, I gotta imagine if you like Kingdom Hearts 2 gameplay, you'll also like really like / love this. A main complaint that people have, and I can, agree with this point, the game is kind of easy. Even on Proud mode, which is the highest difficulty, which is what I played on. I barely died, and honestly, the one time I really can think of that I did die, did die is because suddenly you fight this really big thing, and it suddenly does like a whole bunch of damage out of nowhere.
Okay.
that kind of thing. You might be able to tell what it is when you play it, but other than that, didn't really die. Of course, not like I didn't have some close calls or whatever, but odds are if you are familiar with this series, on Proud mode, you should be fine, as far as going through. So people are kind of upset that there's no critical mode, which is normally the highest difficulty.
Okay.
But Kingdom Hearts 2 didn't have it to begin with. That came in the final mix version, so hopefully they add that in. I don't mean release the final mix version, but just put that stuff as DLC.
Yeah, no, that's
Pass
something.
that in.
Hopefully, yeah, that's something that just sneaks in there.
Yeah.
I mean, so was it so easy that it was detracting from your enjoyment at times?
No, not for me. I'm like, for Kingdom Hearts, for the most part, at least, especially the first playthrough, I'll probably go back, especially at critical mode, and play it again. I don't need it to be really hard.
Yeah.
It was good enough to where I was enjoying things and enjoying all the systems for it.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing is you don't have much reason to necessarily block a lot, and you'll be dodging a good bit, but I didn't really need to block much until the final boss.
Yeah, I don't want to compare this to Nier Automata, but that game, to me, I think is the gold standard for character RPGs or action RPGs now. I just in the way that how fluid and how you can cancel out of every movement or attack. Is it similar in that regards? I know you haven't played Nier, but how is the gameplay fluid? Do you feel a lot of control over space, and can you cancel out of attacks and?
This game is really flashy, so as far as canceling out, probably not that much. And you like, I guess it depends what you mean. Like, there are these things called attraction attacks. They're like the Disney ride attacks,
Right.
and the special moves you can usually cancel out of those anytime.
Okay.
That kind of thing. It kind of feels.
Just like if I go to take a swing, can I also hit the dodge button and cancel out of that swing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
good.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good thing
Yeah.
for fast-paced action RPGs like this.
Yeah. Do you like? One of my biggest concerns, like for other people going into this, was just with how long this has been in development in different stages and everything. I was worried about the gameplay kind of feeling a tad archaic, like feeling like it was from a generation past. Do you think this feels modern, or even if it doesn't, I'm obviously even if it feels old, it wasn't like too much to where it detracted. But
Yeah.
did you feel any? Does it feel like a modern Kingdom Hearts game? Does it feel like a Kingdom Hearts game that should be coming out in 2019?
I mean, I kind of think so. It's the Kingdom Hearts combat, and admittedly, I'm probably not the best person to ask this on. I mean, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I get that.
But
You're too close.
no, I mean, and even just with that, if you look at the games, it's not like I don't play too many games that are crazy with combat. So honestly, my opinion with a bunch of combat stuff for games in general is probably not overall the best.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, it's just taste.
Yeah.
But
So how are those worlds?
Worlds are excellent. Well, I guess I can do some more gameplay stuff. Just get that.
Oh, yeah.
Gameplay just to let everyone know it's there. Yeah, you have a whole bunch of special moves. Like I said, you do the arcade attraction things. All the keyblades kind of matter more here, which I kind of like. Instead of like in 2 and most of the other games, they were just kind of upgrades.
Yeah.
But in this game, they all have transformations.
Yeah, I heard your
Sometimes
drive forms are tied to them.
Yeah. And they do different things. Like one of yours can turn into a gun, like a staff, that kind of things. Kind of do different things, and some of them, once they change, they can change again to an even bigger form, but not all of them do, and they all have like a special move tied to it.
Okay.
At the end there, and you have buddy attacks, which, as the name implies, just moves you use to team up with a buddy, like with Goofy and Donald, and then obviously all the characters in the world. There's this one for the Monsters Inc. we've seen in trailers where they all like Sora, Donald, Goofy, Sully, and Mike all scare the enemies, and then Sora rolls Mike like a bowling ball.
Nice.
And then you can just see him after attack just rolling around for a while.
that's cute. Yeah.
And stuff like that, and all those kind of stuff are tied to the triangle button. And that might sound worse than it is that all that's tied there.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. A big problem I had in the beginning, I thought was going to be a major downer, was and the game doesn't really explain this that I saw. Okay, the way it works when you meet conditions to do these moves, and they come up kind of not necessarily at random, but they just come up, and there's like a set order that you do them in. For a good chunk of, I mean, not a good chunk, I don't know, the first world or so, I thought you had to do the things in order, like you couldn't switch through them. I was
Okay.
like, oh no, that's bad.
Mhm.
Like there were sometimes I had to do the like if there was like a thing I wanted, I had to do the attraction thing, cancel out of it to do it. Then I realized that there's no way that they did this. There's no way that you have to do this. So I press around the button, L2 cycles through them.
Okay.
So that's my public service announcement. L2 is.
But just briefly on the triangle button thing, I actually like it in character action, I guess RPGs, when your moves are tied to the face buttons versus the shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, Darby, do you feel the same way?
I haven't really thought about it.
'Cause I mean, for me,
But-
pressing in a trigger to do an attack, like a melee attack,
okay,
is kind of
yeah.
Like,
weird.
especially for basic attacks and stuff like that. I mean, like, I get what you're saying. Like, I would if there's things on the triggers, I want that to be like kind of a special thing I do every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, at least
I guess
for-
so.
yeah.
For as far as what's mostly everything on the face button, the stuff that's on the and I'm from remembering right on the shoulder buttons locking on and switching on that some the
that
shot
sounds perfect. Yeah.
shot
Stuff-
lock.
yeah.
Do you remember that is from Birth by Sleep?
Yes.
That's on
briefly.
there, and cycling through all that stuff. And when there are times like one of the Disney rides, for example, is you get on like a Buzz Lightyear shooting thing,
Mm-hmm.
or you can press X for that, or you can do R2, which
That sounds fine.
either or. So stuff like that. And you have links, which are summons in this game. They're fun. Get to summon Simba, Ariel from My Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Simba is probably the most overpowered of them by far.
I mean, Simba looked hype in the trailer.
Simba is hype. Got little Stitch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is there anything from Atlantis in this game?
No.
Oh, that's my favorite Disney movie.
Really?
Or
That's-
Treasure Planet.
There is, if I remember, a Treasure Planet nod in there.
Okay.
It's
not
been-
much.
Yeah,
Has
those
it been in
movies are really
previous games?
underrated. Secretly
Has
the
Atlantis or
best.
Treasure Planet been in previous Kingdom Hearts?
Nope.
Okay.
It was one of those things where if they had those movies had any chance to get in, it would have been the first one. But since that was the first game, they were like, we got to just do the big classic movies first.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
If I was Square, I'd be like, we're gonna put the big
Well,
ones
and
in there.
Disney, because I'm sure they
And
got to get the
Disney,
sign off. So Disney wants the
It's
stuff that sells.
Still, it just kind of blows my mind. Still, I know this is just such a tired thing to say, but this game exists, and especially in like modern Disney now, the fact that Disney's still okay with Square just kind of playing around with all their different properties, and like from what I hear, like some of these are beat for beat movies, and some of these are like
that's a good
side
transition
stories,
going
right?
into the worlds, kind of
Right.
doing a brief description of that stuff. So yeah, you do of course you do all the Disney worlds. There are less in here than the other mainline Kingdom
but
Hearts
they're
games.
bigger.
The
right?
worlds
They're
are
way
yes
bigger.
definitely a lot bigger, a lot more for a lot of them verticality. Like for San Fran, Sokyo,
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
you have the Big Hero 6 world. You go around the town, like the city. There's obviously not what would be the whole city. It's not like Spider-Man size, obviously, but decent little playground to mess around in. Guess I can just go in order to kind of do that. Start out in Olympus, kind of
Isn't Olympus in every single one? so far?
like
Yeah.
Hercules has been, but normally it's the Colosseum, which does not return
Right.
in this
Okay.
game.
But there's
so
been
you're doing
some
Mount,
Hercules,
yeah,
right?
you're
Yeah.
doing Mount Olympus, and there's actually a story reason. Which if you played Point 2 on the 2.8 collection, you know why Sora's going there first, and they tell you why in the beginning of the game. Of course, kind of recap that. So you go there. So you going up Mount Olympus. Hades is being Hades. Fight some titans. Good time. You actually get to team up with Hercules in this game. Normally,
He's just kind of in the background.
He just
yeah,
Right.
normally,
off screen, or he just comes and then leaves, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like
Really?
I think it was kind of thing of they're like Hercules supposed to be this god, but it'd be a good thing. So for some reason, I guess that's probably the reason they didn't make him an actual party member.
He don't have time for this. He's off
Yeah.
doing more important things.
Yeah, so like in Kingdom Hearts 2, your party member for the Hercules world was Auron from Final Fantasy X,
Yeah.
which was dope, but yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know when I should interject with this. I guess I'm doing it now. For everything I've heard, it sounds like Final Fantasy's almost completely stripped away from this game.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I heard too.
almost entirely.
That's been the trend for the series.
Is that true? Like,
Yeah.
so I'd be like,
Their nods in there, obviously, their Moogles are still the shopkeepers. Obviously, all spells and stuff are Final Fantasy spells. But
yeah.
as far as characters, Auron and Cloud are referenced in Olympus, because that's where you meet them both.
Right.
But other than that, no, they're
And
not.
that's just something like everything I say is from an outsider who like I'm not who Kingdom Hearts is trying to target anymore at all anyway. So that's what it'll preface for all of this. But like from the outside, the one thing that would like draw me into Kingdom Hearts is like it's a weird mashup between Final Fantasy and Disney, two things I love from like very different things that I love, and it's just such a weird combination. And I don't know, it just kind of seems like, just from the outside looking in, it seems like a bummer that it's Square and they have Final Fantasy there, but then they just choose to not do it. It kind of like seems like it takes something away from it's not as much a crossover anymore.
Yeah,
as it's just kind of a like an original game with Disney in it.
Yeah.
You know?
And even in my experience, it seems that after one, Final Fantasy characters are kind of put by the wayside.
well,
And the Disney characters also just are less, I guess, instrumental to the overall plot.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like the connecting thread between.
it's
Right.
yeah. As far as the
original
whole
characters.
Final Fantasy and Disney, Disney after one for the most part, as far as the main story tie-in, besides a few things, aren't as instrumental. I think it's because at the time the whole thing was Disney Final Fantasy was more of the crossover thing. So at the time, Nomura didn't have the plan for this
Yeah, that was the selling
overarching
point.
plot. So that's kind of as far as Final Fantasy goes. It didn't really bother me that they weren't really in here because at this point, I mean, I'm not saying I would have liked them in there, of course, but kind of like at this point, Kingdom Hearts is kind of its own thing.
That's what I've heard most people
Yeah.
say.
So it doesn't need doesn't need the Final Fantasy stuff as much. So, at least, especially not compared to the Disney stuff, because the Disney stuff is a lot more instrumental to Kingdom Hearts,
yeah.
just as what it is.
Yeah, it's just a bummer for me. Like even if like the little, like even from me playing one and like when Cloud walks up
Yeah.
and stuff, it's like that was amazing. Like it doesn't have to be big things, but that just it's kind of a bummer that it seems like for the most part it's completely out. But
There's
Oh,
one interesting Final Fantasy kind of tie-in thing that I will not mention here. That was fun. But
Noctis dies.
Oh my god.
now Noctis is the master of masters.
The Noctis is not there, but the photographer guy with the weird blonde hair.
Prompto?
Pronto.
I was gonna say Pompadour, but
that's it.
not his name.
Pompadour is in there. Sorry to derail you.
Yeah, I forgot where it was. I guess it was Olympus. Yeah, Olympus is fun. It's fun going out Mount Olympus. I think it was a good entry level to show just how expansive this Kingdom Hearts worlds are compared to past worlds. Also, it's a fun thing. Olympus is definitely a world worth going back to see how it changed after the events.
Okay.
Just to kind of see how, because there's as far as worlds go, there's definitely, I probably feel like, a bigger difference between when you're actually going through the world and after the world. It's a small kind of thing in a way, but I think it's really cool to see the ads why the worlds here are generally better than past games.
Now the worlds, are they like, how big are they? Are they like very content dense? Are they sparse? Like how are they presented in this game?
I think the presented world, obviously they're a lot bigger, and there's definitely more stuff going on in the past Kingdom Hearts games. All of them. It's partly because 2 was, that's what he said, 14 years ago, and then every other game on that since has been on a handheld that has been underpowered. So a lot of those games were just rooms and corridors that are just kind of have the Disney World skin on them without much going on.
Right.
There are a lot more stuff added to this world to make it unique, to make it feel more like you're actually in these worlds.
Okay.
That's when I see like the Tangled world, especially, which is I think the one I've seen the most just from clips and videos.
It's
and
kind
stuff.
of the first one they showed off.
Yeah, it looks like almost semi-open world, like where the environments look like significantly bigger than I remember anything from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah.
A
lot more stuff going on. A lot more. You can kind of go, or a lot more kind of paths you can kind of more explore, and not necessarily less obvious. Like, oh, there's a treasure chest here for the most part.
Right. Okay.
You actually got to do a little more exploring for it.
Yeah. I mean, were you generally happy? I know we're just like interrogating you, but were you generally happy with all the worlds? Were there like some weak links, or was there?
Let's see. Just looking through.
I did hear 100 Acre Woods is just kind of like
That's always been that way.
Yeah,
Or
just some
kind
weird
of a
puzzle.
side.
Well, even more so than this game, because it's by far the shortest one. I think it took me less than 30 minutes to beat it. Because it's just you go there, you're at Rabbit's house. That's the only area, and you're just doing 3 mini games that are pretty much the same thing.
Is it baseball? Is Christopher Robin there? Is he a baseball guy?
No. I mean, here's the whole thing, and I kind of like it's small the thing. I kind of like the overall, kind of like what they were going for with this, with the Winnie the Pooh world in this, as far as like kind of why it was there, kind of thing. I think it was a cute little thing. Sora is pretty much, Christopher Robin in this world.
Yeah.
Because you don't see him, you don't hear about him. Sora is pretty much Christopher Robin. He's
Silly
playing
old
that
bear.
role. Yeah.
again so weird that Disney's okay with this. Like I love it.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
But I would potentially argue in a way Frozen was kind of a weak link. Just not the world was cool. It was probably one of the biggest ones as far as like traveling around and all that kind of stuff. Going through the world is a lot more confusing about what's where necessarily. I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. But it was one of those worlds where it was following the movie. And this might be partly because I didn't watch the movie. Never got around to it. So it felt like more than especially any of these other ones, Sora was just like the movie was playing out as it would normally would, and Sora and them are just kind of there.
Yeah.
Not really putting in as much input as like compared to the Tangle world, I feel like they were more involved. You know, they were traveling with them. They were kind of involved in the jokes. That was fun.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason I think Tangled's probably me personally, since Tangled's a great movie and I love it. One of my favorite worlds in this game.
Nice.
Where compared to Frozen, again, it felt like Sora and them were just kind of there, and you kind of just.
I wonder if part of that is Disney giving them weird regulations. And
it could be
certain
potentially,
things.
especially since they've talked about that. They got to talk to the creators, like the people who actually worked on it for things and stuff like that, and then in a way it was more difficult because a lot of these movies are current. So the creators are still there.
Yeah.
Frozen 2's happening.
Like Disney's like, yeah, you can go wild with Tangled. We don't care at all. But it's like, oh, Frozen, no.
Well, I mean, Tangled also followed the movie.
Sacred.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that Tangled and Frozen were the two. I know
Which,
that didn't
if you watch Tangled, it's a pretty obvious reason to know why they couldn't do like Toy Story, Big Hero 6 and do like after.
I was about to say I know one that didn't, and I have to transition because I have to ask about it. How was Toy Story?
Toy Story is great, man.
Without
Good
spoilers,
times.
how was Toy Story? Because
it was a fun time. You go there. You're in Andy's room. It's just a jolly time. You know, just being there. You don't spend that much time in there, but it's just fun going around there. You get to roll around on the Pixar ball.
Nice.
Which is, fun. You get to look around the room, and you get to, we've seen the trailers, jump out of the house, go on the street, that kind of fun thing.
Yeah, it looks that would be the one that I would be the most excited.
Yeah,
for sure.
You go to the toy store, and it just that one's pretty big. That's a pretty big thing. You get it. You're in there, multiple floors. You just go all around into the different kind of stores. You get to see different kind of toys. There's a video game store. There's a action figure store, doll store, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Fun things. Just go around the mall. I'm curious to go back and just see like what all the made up video games are.
Right.
Though there is one real one. They have Dissidia in there.
Nice. Near Automata.
Yeah. I think they had an NBA 2K ripoff thing in there. I definitely saw that. I just kind of was walking around.
Nice.
And it was fun just be there with Buzz and Woody. Hearing, interacting with them, which was fun.
Yeah. It seems Pixar this time around has really gotten the focus on the Disney front.
Yeah, Nomura apparently said straight at some point he wasn't doing this if he couldn't get Toy Story.
That's awesome.
Should have gone for Cars. I mean, just imagine Sora and Donald and Goofy as a car. Wouldn't that be great?
Jacob, I can kick you off of this podcast. I have the authority.
No, and
Ka-chow.
You pay attention to only two Pixar worlds, that Toy Story and Monsters Inc. And unless I'm forgetting something, those are definitely the two worlds I wanted the most out of them. The Pixar stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm happy those two made it in. So yeah, where to go from here? Yeah, Toy Story had a fun thing, and I've said this before. It's just a fun thing. This Toy Story is actually canon to this Toy Story universe. Can't change my mind.
Well, didn't someone at Disney say that?
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's canon.
It's hilarious.
I mean, nothing in it contradicts what happened.
Well, in Toy Story 4, Sora's gonna be running in the background somewhere. It's oh shit.
I mean, it'd be. It'd be dope if they had just a poster where you see little things of just Donald and just an actual a Sora reference in there.
Yeah.
Because I don't see why they couldn't do that.
I mean, the reason probably is there's a very good chance that the people writing the Toy Story 4 don't even know what Kingdom Hearts is. There's a decent chance.
No, I mean, they said they worked. I mean, people.
They worked with the people.
Yeah. There was an actual interview, I think, Frozen writers and Toy Story writers saying, they worked on this game.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they got I know at least Frozen. Didn't they get the cast back for?
Yeah, there's also something I just have a bunch of notes here. This kind of things I want to get to. Voice acting in this game's overall, I think, really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised with Sora's voice acting, for instance. I thought it was going to be a little more, because some of the stuff we've heard was kind of jarring. The fact that he's a 30-year-old man voicing a 16-year-old.
Seeing the picture of him from back then till now, he has this giant beard. Now it's so funny.
But and there were some lines that were delivered a little weird, but overall, I thought he did really well and kind of cements I don't want anyone else to voice Sora, and at least unless his voice,
even when he's 45 and he's still.
I mean, if he can't do at some point they got to maybe age up Sora a little bit to where it'll make more sense. But
no, whenever they do the next Kingdom Hearts, Sora comes out there with a gray beard.
Yeah,
it's I've seen some shit.
Yeah, it's like Metal Gear Solid 4, and he's the Heartless have changed.
But what you were saying, Darby, they got a lot of the voice cast in the original movies. I think all the major Frozen characters were voiced by the same people.
That's awesome.
I think everyone, but there were only the voice character or main characters in Tangled, really. But I think they got two of them. I don't know for Rapunzel. I don't think what may have been her voice actress, but the one they got was really good. If it wasn't her, let's see. Big Hero 6, they had all the people. Okay. I think, which was neat. Toy Story, they couldn't get obviously Buzz and Woody because who they are, but they got Tom Hanks' brother who voices Woody in everything but the movies.
Yeah,
honestly, he's probably played Woody more than Tom Hanks actually has at this point.
Oh yeah,
between everything else.
It's so funny. I would actually want to be that guy. You don't have to deal with being famous and being recognized everywhere, but you still get to make a bunch of money just off of your brother's success. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna go. I haven't seen for sure. I'm gonna imagine Tim Allen was not Buzz. the guy who voiced Buzz did a really good impression. The people who did Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc. did a really good job as well.
No.
So it was like for the Disney stuff, either they got the voice actors from the movies, which is great, of course, and the people who weren't the original voice actors did a great job as well. The problems where the voice acting was, as far as like they weren't necessarily great, were the original characters.
Yeah.
For a lot of them being like Riku and Kairi. The voice actors for the most part were fine. They were just kind of felt weak in comparison, but
Yeah. I did hear that Mickey's voice is off.
it's kind of it's different when you think, but I think it's the same guy who's voiced him in 2.
No, I heard that Mickey's voice actor actually died not too long ago, and that they had to get somebody else to voice
I think
him.
they have multiple Mickey voice actors for like one for the show and then one for everything else.
That seemed to be a consistent, I guess, observation is that Mickey did not sound as he should.
Yeah. Okay. Overall, it's fine. That's definitely a thing you get used to, especially since you get a bunch of different Mickey voices.
All right. Favorite world, Jeff?
Favorite world? Oh man, I don't know, man. I guess since we're kind of going through time, Metropolis was really fun. Going through the Monster Inc. factory, Mike and Sully being fun. He did have Boo around, which is fun.
Didn't have Boo.
You did. Boo was there.
Okay.
That was kind of quickly the main point. Getting Boo home and that kind of stuff was the main overarching thing. Caribbean was actually really awesome.
So I've heard people say they didn't care about the story in the Caribbean, but the gameplay was amazing. But
yeah,
that's what
I mean, it's based off of Pirates of the Caribbean 3, which is and mixed movie.
Which one is that even? I can't keep these straight.
Our world, it's the one in the beginning. It's actually the one we actually went to theaters to see this one with you, and I hadn't seen any Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It's when
wow.
Jack has started the movie. I think
he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He's in Davy Jones' locker.
Oh wait, is that the first one with the tentacle man?
No, that was the second one.
Yeah, I was about to say I like that one a lot, but
no, he comes back and then they have like a big showdown against like the East British India Trading Company.
I do remember him being dead and them going to get him, but I don't remember.
Yeah, and Will Sparrow becomes the new Davy Jones.
Okay, that was when Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom were still there, right? Okay.
That was their
last
movie.
As far as I know.
Orlando Bloom, I think, came back.
Yeah, I think they came back. They're at like 6 now or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was one of the things. Obviously, they did not get Johnny Depp for Jack Sparrow. The voice actor, was excellent for that. He pulled it off great, I think.
The first Pirates of the Caribbean, I think the second one,
movie.
from what I remember, like it's kind of like it's kind of a guilty pleasure, but those movies are a lot of fun. Those movies are fun to just watch on a Sunday afternoon.
But what I liked was the Pirates of the Caribbean because they did some of the story beats and stuff, but I think they picked the right ones overall as far as epic pirate adventure, and then a lot of the world is, and this one I'm going to go back and explore some, is you getting a ship, exploring around, going to different islands and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, let's say about 25 treasure chests or something, like in each world normally. Mm-hmm. There are over 50 in this world.
Nice.
So you got to go exploring to find that buried treasure, and this is one of those things that's like, this isn't true, but screw it, it's Kingdom Hearts. You can actually also swim underwater, and you don't have to worry about oxygen. And the battle system kind of changes some because you lose some of your moves, but your spell changes because you're underwater, and just combat in general change, which is really cool. So
how does it compare to the pirate section in Sly 3, which is the best section in any Sly Cooper game ever, and one of Darby's favorites of all time?
Since you said all that, obviously not as good, Darby. Sly Cooper was the best thing ever.
Thank you. That was the correct answer.
Now, but it's a lot of fun. And dear Lord, the game in general is beautiful, but I was shocked at some places of how good the Pirates level looked. Like,
I was surprised in the trailer. I remember when it came up, we were like, "Whoa, look at that!"
Yeah, because people who play Kingdom Hearts 2 and have seen it, you may even at the time, especially now, the visuals of that do not age well, and that's part of, and it did not mix well. They not even try to make Sora, Donald, and Goofy fit in there. They just used the regular models and put in a semi-realistic looking world. They actually tried to make Sora, Donald, and Goofy fit the art style. I think they did a good job. Obviously, still in a weird in a way that you have these realistic looking people, but then you have Donald and Goofy. I mean, still being Donald and Goofy.
It is what it is. They should make Goofy into a real dog when he goes into those. Like he's actually like on all fours.
No,
He's just
don't
like
do
a
that.
dog walker.
That's weird. That makes me uncomfortable.
All right,
So yeah, let's go for a couple more
let's
points.
just hit a few more and then let's get on to some zombies.
Yeah, I'm excited to maybe once you play talking.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
I
will
also-
not be the
story
last
beats,
time we
yeah.
talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. I assure you.
This is definitely a common question that I feel like I should probably address. Is this game newcomer friendly?
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, yeah. Even the hardest difficulty, Darby could go in and be fine for sure. And have no
And
problem.
that's how you know
Yeah.
if Darby.
No, I'm just saying
can
because
play-
you're not used to Kingdom Hearts.
I
yet.
know. I'm completely.
But yeah. But as far as story goes, dear Lord, I gotta imagine there are a bunch of people who are playing, like mainly adults who are playing this. Like, I'll jump into this Kingdom Hearts 3 game, see what it's about. They're confused as hell and everything because there are overarching plots, like Organization 13 members in every Disney World. So if you want to go in and just have fun in the Disney worlds, that stuff is going to be in there.
Yeah.
Obviously not a problem for me, but
Yeah.
and then at some point, this is the same way with other Kingdom Hearts games. I don't mind sport saying this. After you're done with the Disney worlds, it's the final like part of the game is all Kingdom Hearts plot nonsense.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. So at that,
So the answer is no.
especially since they call back to every single game.
Okay.
So
yeah.
how is
The mobile, like I
Jeff,
said earlier, the mobile game has a bigger presence and all this stuff than I thought it would.
Jeff, this is almost an even bigger question. Is it friendly for those who have only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2?
Probably not.
Yeah, there's important stuff that happens in at least Birth by Sleep. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dream
Birth
Drop
by Sleep
Distance
for
is
sure.
also-
Dream Distance, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be at least have some basic knowledge of all that stuff.
You gotta study up.
That's now that's not a problem for me because I like the fact that there's payoff for all this time.
No, it makes it sound like
it's like Infinity War in a way for me, but a lot more nonsense.
Well, it's crazy for how much money goes into this, and they have the Disney tie-in and stuff. You would think that they would be kind of forced to be like, "You're going to make this accessible because we have Disney and we have all this. So you're going to make it so people can jump in." But no, instead they went hardcore, and it probably makes it the dream game for. for
I would say there is
someone
some
like
weird
Jeff.
stuff that even I was like, so what happened there? That I've read stuff online. I'm like, no one really knows what happened. And it's like that just kind of happened. I'm like, okay, whatever. Some weird stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, liked how it wrapped up in an era set for the future. The epilogue in the secret video made me go like, what the F a lot. What's like this crazy stuff. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, visuals. And the final thing we'll talk about, which I'm sure will be the thing Darby cares about the most, the music.
Yes.
The music is excellent, which should
Good.
be no
That's good.
surprise.
It's always been my favorite
It's
part.
The
of
fact that
Kingdom
it's
Hearts.
Square and it's Disney and it's like both of those together, and all the original Kingdom Hearts music is some of the best in video games.
Yes.
Period.
And then just what they do with the music, like, you hear the Toy Story music and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Jolly time. So
go.
Kingdom Hearts, great. It's going to be hard for a game to top this for a game of the year. I know it's early, but
Ooh.
I mean, I just think like, what if this came out a month earlier? Where would I put it last year? Pretty high there. I mean, I'm off the high on it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
So I love it, and yeah, you'll definitely hear more. I wish I could talk about story stuff, but
When Jacob will be the only one that I mean,
Yeah.
like you can. I'll do a spoiler cast with you. And
dear
you,
Lord,
and you
that
can
went on
just
a long
talk-
time. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's Kingdom Hearts 3. It's finally
Been-
here.
Yeah, it's been
We
like
knew
what,
it was gonna happen.
10
Yeah.
years in the making.
Then the game I'm really forward to
Building
most
up.
since got announced in 2013 officially.
But another thing that people have been wanting for years and years and years is a remake of Resident Evil 2.
Hell yeah.
And now it's
Boom,
here. Jacob, how good is this?
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess
probably, as far as a remake goes, it's the best it could possibly be.
So where are you, just so people know, like how much of it have you played?
that's that.
Yeah, not as far as I think you would expect. I've beaten Leon A, and now I'm on the final area for Claire B.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy to hear just hearing what people said about how long this game takes and just looking at how long I'm like, at least doing an A then B one normal. It's like, this is manageable. I like it.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because I've seen a lot of people complaining about the game's length. I'm actually apparently quite slow going through this. It took me about right at 9 hours to beat Leon A. and then Claire B, I think I'm around 5 hours. But it seems like most people are beating the first playthrough in about, five to 7 hours, depending, and then most people are beating the second playthrough in about 3 hours.
Okay.
But I guess I'm just slow.
I'm going to be that way when I get to it.
Yeah, I'm going to want to explore the different things, especially for you to see what's changed and or to see the old stuff like reinvented in this way, which, I mean, how does it feel on that perspective of like, I mean, does this feel like something, if someone wanted to experience Resident Evil 2, you would point them to just this, or is it like this is a different thing and you should play both for different reasons, like the original and this?
Okay, well, just to dial it back for a second, my history with Resident Evil, I played Resident Evil Remake, which is the remake of the first game when it came out on PS4 a few years ago. Then I played Resident Evil 7, and that's what really got me into the series. And then following that game, I went back and I played some of the older ones. So by no means like would I consider myself like a really hardcore Resident Evil fan. I am diving more into the series, and I listened to a really interesting Resident Evil lore podcast like earlier this week. That was really fascinating.
Okay.
So it's a series that I'm getting more into, and I'm growing to appreciate a lot. But I wasn't waiting for this Resident Evil 2 remake since 1998. I was a toddler when that game came out. But anyways, you can totally play this without playing the original Resident Evil 2. It's perfectly fine. Resident Evil 2, the original one on PlayStation 1, that game has aged a lot better than the first Resident Evil. Whereas, like, if I say if you want to play Resident Evil 1, just play the remake. Don't even bother with the original one.
That's what I plan on doing.
Yeah, but you can totally play Resident Evil 2, and it holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to play it for the first time, definitely just pick up the remake.
Yeah.
Depending on your budget, of course.
Right.
But it is. This feels like I was talking about with Dragon Quest XI a few weeks back, where that felt like a old game with a lot of nice modern touches. This is what that game is for a classic survival horror game. And it is truly a survival horror game. Ammo, like, you got a lot more ammo in the demo than you do in the base game.
Oh no.
Jeff was already running out.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, it's a demo, so I wasn't caring about ammo.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, there were parts early in the police station where I was running around with maybe like 12 handgun bullets and like 2 shotgun shells. And I was like, oh god, like, what am I gonna do?
The world. And it seems like it takes like 6 headshots to kill anybody.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed too that if you're running around with a lot of ammo, zombies will take more shots.
Really?
It's like you're doing a little too
scales.
well. Yeah, it scales. Because there's one time I was walking around with like 40 handgun bullets, and there was a zombie crawling on the floor who took like 7 headshots. And I was like, oh my god, like, what are you doing?
He was like, we will not let you feel comfortable.
Yeah, and that is what this game exceeds at. It exceeds at atmosphere, at the tense feeling of a survival horror game, which is running around and you're like, okay, I don't know what's next. I don't know if I have enough resources to deal with this problem. And if I go through an encounter and it kind of goes south, I don't know, like, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that anxiety and that kind of overall feeling of dread of, do I have enough items to defend myself and to progress, which is a great feeling. And this game is a great remake because it makes people in 2019 feel what people felt in 1998 playing the original game.
And that's what it seems like from what everyone said. It's almost like this is like kind of how you remember older games like that being, but maybe even past that for a lot of people.
And for old-time fans, people who played the original game, it remixes a lot of things in a great way. I played the original game in the week leading up to this game's release, and I was still like kind of lost and confused on where to go at times. Like, I couldn't just, I had an inkling of where to go, but I couldn't just like run from A to B to Z and complete the game like that way. Right. Puzzles are reworked or kind of spliced together and remixed. There was one puzzle where I didn't think it was going to show up in the game because the part in the original RE2 where it was supposed to be was not there. So I was like, oh, they probably cut that puzzle out, but they moved it to another part of the game entirely.
Okay.
So there's a lot of nice touches that way. And same thing with the monsters as well. The first Licker, that you encounter in the game, which if you haven't played the game, a liquor is a very scary monster. It's this kind of skinless thing on all fours with a long tongue, and they will mess you up. And in the first game, you encounter it immediately in, I want to say, the west side hallway, L-shaped hallway. It's not there this time around, and they put it somewhere else. But then later in the RPD, they put the liquor back where you originally find it, and so it surprised me. I was like, "Oh, you're here again."
It's almost like they're playing with what your expectations from playing this game before.
Yeah. And then for people who did not play the original game, of course, it is a fantastic survival horror game. Yeah. They do a good job of, I think, introducing the story and stuff. There's a lot of classic elements to it where you can kind of dive in and understand what made the series so popular without needing that kind of background history.
Right. I think it's a very interesting way of having a remake. Like most remakes don't go this far. This almost is a new game. It's almost from everything I've seen and just watching Jeff play. I'd never ended up playing the demo. I just watched him, but I mean, it obviously some of the vibe of it kind of has a 90s vibe in some ways, but which is a good thing. Like I'm glad that it doesn't seem like it doesn't purely look like a game that like, oh, this could have just been any game that came out now. It also still kind of has an older vibe to it, but it's still gameplay wise, it looks like it's not something you're going to be like, ooh, this didn't age well. It's like, no, that just
Yeah, like even when you go to interact with the puzzles and it kind of has a very high resolution kind of static background that's very classic to this series. Yeah. And just like even in the garage, I was looking at some of the cars and they're all kind of like very blocky. I was like, man, this just looks like a game from like 1998. Like the style of it. It's absolutely fantastic. There was something I was going to say, but I forgot. But ask some more questions. Maybe it'll come back to me.
I mean, so I guess so is the story pretty much the same thing, or have they have they changed a decent amount of it? Because I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The story is pretty much the same. They add some few things here and there. And interestingly enough, I think they make a few references to later games like Code Veronica and other games, which I was not expecting. Like they have not.
That's interesting.
They have not like wiped away the rest of the series. It feels firmly
so they were
tied
like
to
references
everything
that
else.
weren't into the original RE2.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Right? Okay. That's cool. That's interesting.
And with the acting in general, of course, the acting is very much improved from the original game, but there's still like a nice layer of cheese to it where I can't tell. Yeah, I can't tell if it's intentional or not, which is great.
Either way, it's great.
Yeah. I didn't want it to be like ridiculously like cheesy and dumb.
Yeah,
but there's just a nice bit of it there. There's a part early on where, not really a spoiler, but Leon finds Claire and she's on this other side of this fence. And Leon's like, hey, how you doing? How's your day? And she's like, oh, I'm good. Hey, Leon, could you really open this gate? There's like zombies behind me. He's like, oh, that's nice. Just kind of like the weird flirting and like this. There's like a helicopter burning behind Leon, and there's like
we've
4 or
been
5
shooting zombies the last like 3 hours. This is traumatic, but
yeah,
I'm gonna flirt with this girl.
Yeah, it remains very true, I think, to the feeling as far as like the characters and the story goes.
That's so awesome.
My precious G virus. No one will take it from me.
Or people said they were very scared of Mr. X.
Yeah, so that's a big change from the original game is Mr. X, which oddly enough in the game is called Tyrant, and I was like, that's weird. And where the name Mr. X came from was not from the game; it came from the toy.
Nice.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, yeah.
And that kind of retroactively became his official name.
Interesting.
But Mr. X is a tyrant, which is a big, bulking monster in the original game. And he only showed up in the second scenario, and his job was to pursue whatever character and eliminate them that you're playing as. And he was kind of limited to rooms. Like he could not follow you around the police station. He could not follow you outside of the rooms that he was scripted to be in. But in this game, he shows up and he is there, and he will follow you throughout the entire time that you are in the area.
Wow.
It is very scary. and you can hear him like kind of stomping around. And the game is also, if you're listening on headphones, it has binaural audio, so you can hear him stomping up in the room above you.
You can use those headphones I got for my VR.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, and in the old games you could kill him briefly and you would get ammo back, but in this one you cannot. You can.
So you just have to run.
Yeah, you can like if you shoot him in the head with like a shotgun, that will kind of stagger him for a second. But if you try and shoot him with a pistol, like it'll just kind of bounce off his outfit.
So was it annoying that he was following you a lot?
It's not really annoying because it is easy to lose him. He is. If you ever seen the movie It Follows, that movie is where there's a demon and it is constantly pursuing you, but it can only move at a normal walk.
Yeah,
he's kind of like that. He can't run. You are faster than him, and so it's very easy to lose him. But he is constantly walking around.
It's just this unsettling presence that
And the second you shoot off a gun, he will hear you and he will come straight for you.
Jeez. Yeah, so how does it work as a horror game in 2019, independent of the Resident Evil stuff? Like, is it one of the more scary games you've played?
I mean, totally. And I know a lot of people feel that horror games work best in first person, but this is a third person game, and it feels. I feel like it's more scary in third person. There have been parts where the zombies in general are so detailed. And
just from watching Jeff when he shot someone in the head and its jaw went off and I'm dude, that's
yeah,
crazy.
You can blow their arms off and it'll be kind of hanging by the sinew of the arm and then fall off. And the way that zombies grab you is that when they get you, it zooms way in on Leon and the zombie, and then when you come out of that kind of animation, you're kind of flipped all around. You don't know where you are. And if there's another zombie in that room, there's a high likelihood that zombie could also come in and grab you when you're disoriented after getting out of the first zombie attack.
Right.
And the lickers themselves are also all the monsters really are just kind of just creepy and terrifying. And the game is also very dark too. There's been a few times where I've gone through a room, I've killed the zombies, and then I've come back through the room, and there was a zombie that was not active, that is now active, that has grabbed me from around a corner, and just terrified me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh god, you're alive now.
That's what. Even from the little bit I saw playing with Jeff, it was just everyone was okay, we killed all those. Let's go into the other room. We come back. It's I thought we killed that guy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, and zombies are such a very common, I guess, enemy in video games, but these zombies are done so well that they are a persistent threat, and they will surprise you and show up when you don't expect it. And it is a very, very terrifying game.
That's awesome. I wonder. So, do you think after this, because I feel like the Resident Evil's in a weird place now, where they have Resident Evil 7 that was very successful and very highly praised, and then RE2 Remake, which is very successful and highly praised, but they're very different. They're similar in the way that they're kind of going back to horror roots, but one is this third person shooting and everything,
very survival horror,
and it's a remake. It has both of those things going for it. And RE7 is just complete first person PT thing, where it's first person just pure horror. I wonder where are they gonna go? Is there just gonna be two different paths of Resident Evil? There's these games and these games. I don't know.
I hope not. I really hope that when Resident Evil 8 comes out, that it is in the style of Resident Evil 2 remake. This just feels so much more true to the series, and it works so well as well. It would be kind of a waste to go back, I think, to the first person.
Would you rather them just make RE8 in this style with another full game, or do you want to see RE3 remade like this?
Yeah, RE3 remake would be interesting, but out of all the PlayStation 1 games,
I'm injecting here. We got some news.
Okay.
Yeah, consolidate the stuff.
So I'm not sure how we're going to do time codes for this, but this comes from Daniel Kahn from Gear Nuke. In an interview at Game Watch, Hirabayashi, I guess the director for that, was asked that since Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 were supplementary titles released a year apart from each other, taking place in the same city using many of the same elements, if there was a possibility of using the similar elements they incorporated in Resident Evil 2 Remake for a possible remake of Resident Evil 3. Hirabayashi commented that Resident Evil 2 was remade after 21 years because fans continue to tell them they want a remake. They couldn't possibly remake Resident Evil 3 without the fans' permission. So if players really enjoy the remake of Resident Evil 2 and they voice their enthusiasm, then we could use that as a good indicator. Also, in a little other Resident Evil 2 news, Capcom announced Resident Evil 2 has shipped 3 million copies in its first 7 days.
Nice.
Yeah. So Resident Evil 3 remake is definitely happening. Out of all the older games that exist of Resident Evil, 3 is definitely
Roughly there.
holds up as the best playing. It introduces a lot of things that have gone on to be in other Resident Evil games, and it's also still a very good-looking game, even as a PlayStation 1 title. It has the highest quality CGI or static backgrounds as well.
Okay.
Out of all the old games that could use a remake, I haven't played Code Veronica, but that game is pretty clunky and rough, and its story could definitely use some refining to it. And actually, interestingly enough, Code Veronica was originally intended to be Resident Evil 3. The development history of Resident Evil as a series is very interesting.
Okay.
But I would rather just see Resident Evil 8 before Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah, that's what I would worry that, like, as good as these are, I would worry about them just getting in the rabbit hole of remaking game after game instead of putting those resources towards the similar concepts, like innovative concepts, but to new things. You know?
Yeah.
Like I saw something that there was a rumor / leak or something from some Capcom stuff that they're looking at doing both Resident Evil 8, but also making the remake for 3. Like
that's
based on what I read, I think they're just saying, "Oh, we're fans demand it, blah blah," because they don't want to officially announce it. But especially after these Resident Evil 2 sales so far, it's happening.
Yeah.
Just the only
probably
thing
much sooner than 2 happened.
The only thing that sucks about that, just resource-wise, is this is not just like a normal remake. They basically made a game. They basically made a whole game, and I imagine RE3 would be a similar way.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But considering Resident Evil 7 and so far this has been selling pretty well, so
yeah, I
why
think
wouldn't they
it'll
want
and Capcom's big enough that they can work on multiple things at once, obviously.
But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see a continuation of the Resident Evil series overall story. I'd like to see Resident Evil 8 be very character focused. Yeah. Which, I mean, Resident Evil 7 is a fine game, and again, it's the game that really got me into the franchise, but it does miss a lot of the very charming elements from the older games.
Yeah, it's basically a different series. Almost. Yeah.
I mean, at the time that it came out, it was the fresh coat of paint I think the series really needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think this Resident Evil 2 remake has shown that it's definitely possible to have a modern, true to the feeling of the older games as a Resident Evil 8, as a new title.
I think they needed 7 to get people the taste of Resident Evil 6 out of people's mouths.
Yeah,
before going to 2.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say I think Resident Evil 2 remake and then Resident Evil 7 were developed around the same time. Just 7 came out earlier, but yeah. Yeah, 6 is. I have not played 6, but I've heard the plot to it, and I was like, how did this get made? How did someone make money off of this
People
plot?
made this.
Yeah. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 Remake is, again, a great game. If you're just a fan of horror games in general, definitely you should not miss this. This is one of the best horror games of the past however many years. It's
exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be another good game to play with a group of people. That's how I like to play horror games. Is with other people. Or maybe I'm wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally fine if you want to play with a group of people. I think you would be missing a component, like a feeling of it, if you played it with multiple people, not by yourself. Definitely when you play it by yourself and you have the headphones on and you're just kind of sucked into the atmosphere.
That's true.
It is. Good point. Yeah,
miss that feel.
Yeah, it is a great
feel of
feeling.
dread and loneliness.
Yeah.
Now, is it delusional of me to hear that both of these two games are good? One, a Nomura made JRPG, and one, a remake of a PS1 game, and feel better about the Final Fantasy VII remake? Is that delusional? Can I just add these two together and think that things are going to be okay?
Well, different companies.
I understand that. Well, Nomura is not different. Nomura is working on Final Fantasy VII remake. I don't know. It just popped in my head. It's like the remake of a PS1 game, Nomura RPG. Maybe we can, maybe these are good times.
Yeah, but what kind of sucks though, because like I said, Kingdom Hearts definitely sets up future titles. It's also like, well, I guess I gotta wait till 7 remakes done before I even get in.
Yes, you do, Jeff. This is my time, okay? You got your fun with your stupid mouse and your freaking dog and duck and stuff. You got your fun.
Hey, those two are great. Best party memories of JRPG ever, man. Don't even know.
Do you have any other things about RE2 that you need to get off your chest?
Just I'm excited to finish, of course, the Claire B scenario, and then I'll probably hit Claire A, then Leon B.
Right.
Because some story elements do change around.
Yeah. So if you want to really experience absolutely everything, you basically have to play it twice. Starting with Leon or Claire, and then the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people again have been complaining about the game's length, which. Yeah, like just one playthrough is not that long, but you're missing a lot of the game if you just play through it once. Like, that's it.
Are you enjoying the second playthrough like just as much? Like,
yeah.
Is there a lot of new content?
Like with the original game, there are different parts to it. Different characters will show up. Like Chief Irons only shows up in Claire's game. Ada only shows up in Leon's game. So there are different parts to it, but the areas are still mostly the same. You're still solving the same puzzles. Claire does get different weapons, however, so there is a difference in that regards. She gets the grenade launcher. Leon gets the shotgun.
Grenade launcher sounds cool. I can't even think about that in those like tight corridors and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun weapon. Probably my favorite, I'd say. She also gets like a submachine gun, and nice. I think it's only if you play as Claire second, but she gets a revolver, like a Red Dead Redemption style revolver, and so it's just kind of funny of her like kind of holding it like Revolver Ocelot, like 6 bullets, more than enough to kill anything that moves.
I can use my grenade launcher, my submachine gun, or this old rusty ass revolver.
Yeah, well the benefit to it is that it fires really quickly, and
does she go?
Yeah, pretty much, and
nice.
It has a higher chance of getting like critical hits, which blows the zombies' heads off, and you don't have to worry about them coming back.
But this is very important. Does she twirl it around like Revolver Ocelot?
I wish she'll like flip it open and then like reload each and every bullet, which is kind of like really intense. Just like Revolver Ocelot says, like, oh, the feeling of tensity when I'm reloading in battle. But that is a very fun weapon to use, and it's like, god damn, Claire, like where did you learn? You're like what, like 19, 20? Like how do you know how to do that?
killed
from
so
her brother.
many people.
Yeah, probably. And there is a note from Chris in this game, which is very funny, and a call to, I guess, what he's doing in I guess the note is a reference to what you find out in the original game, but also a call to what he does in Code Veronica, because Code Veronica is about Chris and Claire.
Okay.
Meeting up.
Most important question: how's that tofu gameplay?
I've not unlocked that yet.
Jacob,
you have to. That is a hard mode because you just have a knife.
If you're the tofu.
Yeah, it's just
nice.
knife. And
I mean, tofu can't hold guns. That's crazy talk.
You're right. I'm sorry, Jeff. That's science. That's science right there. Tofu can only hold knife.
Yeah, there are other options. There's the hunk mode and tofu mode, and there's also a lot of interesting kind of challenges for the base game. It's like, don't use any healing items for the entire game. Don't use any item boxes.
It's rough.
Yeah, only save like 3 times, something like that.
Brutal.
But it is a game, like all good survival horror games, it is a game about mastery and speed running through it and learning patterns and places where the key items are, so you can run through it.
Nice. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, just a really great game.
Okay, once again, just like Kingdom Hearts, this will not be the last time we talk about this. And I imagine
it at some point.
Jeff will play it at some point. And who knows? I might play it at some point.
Maybe
We'll see.
sooner rather than later. Who knows? I was just thinking I don't have many big games after this.
After Persona 5, there will be a hole in my heart and my life that I don't know what to do with. Because that has been everything for a long time. All right.
Well, unfortunately, there are no S-links in Resident Evil.
See,
Can't play it.
I wanted to max out my social link with Mr. X.
And don't worry, Jacob. There's social links in Kingdom Hearts. You can date Goofy.
All right.
Hell yes, I'm getting Kingdom Hearts. Well, Jeff, you have actually will disclose now that you've had dreams for a little bit.
I have. I've had it for a couple weeks. I haven't played it as much as I'd like to, though, partly because of Kingdom Hearts. But
Jeff got into the closed beta, and he actually had like an NDA. You signed the NDA, Jeff.
yes, I did.
It's crazy.
It's not as fancy as it sounds.
Yeah, but that is lifted so he can talk about it.
Yeah,
So.
they suddenly lifted out of nowhere. I have no idea if it's partly because people were posting like the PT they made in there anyway, and all that kind of stuff, or they probably always planned it. I think the NDA came up when they were releasing all the codes, so it's probably up. Let's just go ahead and release this because it might have been always their plan, but they didn't want to stay ahead of time.
Also, sorry, I didn't realize you had it the other order around, but whatever. Anyway, Dreams.
So
how's it been?
Dreams is really cool. I haven't done that much or really any making because I want to do the tutorials first, and dear Lord, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm just gonna be honest, I'm probably hardly gonna make anything at all unless it's something simple because I do not have the creativity or honestly the time/patience to make something.
So,
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Well, just seeing what people have made from it, I have to imagine that the creation system is kind of complicated if it can make things that detailed. I mean, does it feel user friendly? Like
it is. There's just be a lot to it depending on what you're trying to do. You're trying to do, and I'm not the most creative guy, and I even have trouble making straight stairs in the tutorials, so I'm the wrong guy to try to make something. But yeah, there's a lot there, and there are a lot of like I can't remember like terms like they're like gears or whatever you got to use, or you got to connect boxes to each other to make sure the things do what you want it to, like connect switches to things that move and stuff, and that's just like the more basic stuff that I got.
I mean, basically, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, does it feel like you're playing a fun video game, or does it feel like you're dealing with like some software that you've never seen before, and it's like, I don't know what any of these buttons do. Oh God! Like,
no, it's not like. I mean, it's definitely much simpler than actually making a game.
But clearly, but. Does it feel fun to, like, as a casual person who knows nothing about any of this, do you feel like you would at least comprehend how you could make something?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like here just based on, again, I didn't go through all the tutorials, but I can see, like, if someone really wanted to put in the time that they can make this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely not that. I'm just, again, not a creative person, all that kind of stuff, so I'm not going to focus much on that. The main thing what I did is actually play people's creations. Went through all that stuff, playing some stuff that Media Molecule made themselves, and just whatever were the most liked things on when I was dream surfing, as they call it.
When you were dreaming.
Yeah, when I was dreaming. So, man, the things people have made in this game is crazy. And yeah, this is just the beta thing, so people didn't have that much time to make this stuff just because of, and I don't even know if all the stuff in this is going to be like, or everything that's going to be the final game was here.
Right.
So, and obviously, since there's the beta, people are probably trying to make things faster and not taking their time as much. But there's a lot of variety. There's like there've been platformers, 2D and 3D platformers that have been first-person shooters. I've played a rhythm game.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, again, I didn't get that all the way through the tour. I'm like, man, people can do all this stuff? Dang.
And did all those like feel nice to play? Did they feel distinct, like they were their own control systems and all that?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's like crazy stuff that people can do. Can add voices in their music and stuff, and they can add.
Yeah, you can make your own music.
Yeah,
like when I've always wondered when people are talking about making their own music, is it music that they're uploading that they make on their own, or is it stuff you actually use their instruments in the game?
I think you can do both, because obviously you can add up your own audio, because in the PT thing they use the actual PT audio.
Yeah.
So and you do all that kind of stuff.
Of both, yeah.
And obviously, again, right now, since this is a demo, people are just kind of making things, kind of throwing stuff together. A lot of stuff isn't the most complicated stuff as far as playing it. It's kind of more basic, because they're kind of like take demo type things for the most part. But they're really cool, and the things that people have been able to create is crazy. I played a 3D Cuphead platformer.
Nice.
I mean, it wasn't like a crazy thing, but the people that actually made, those little blue slime ball things that are like one of the basic enemies, they had those following you. Obviously, you were Cuphead, and they were using the music, and there's kind of it had a Cuphead vibe.
Man, Dreams is going to be cool. I really think people are going to make some freaking amazing things in this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think, because, I've been kind of beating the Dreams drum for a while, but it's crazy to see people are hopping on this now, that people actually be able to get their hands on it, and people have been showing it more.
I mean, I had a feeling that's all it could maybe take is like, I mean, like, it's just like this is a game that I feel like needs to be out before we really comprehend it and everything. And I still worry about it not selling well, but I think that it's going to the things that people are going to make.
If you know, based on what we played and the Media Molecule nails it or whatever and does what they need to do, yeah, even if there's always that fear about it not selling well, but if they can nail it, I think it's going to go down as like a very important game. As you know, it'll be on like best of PS4 lists and all that kind of stuff, I think. And I think it'll be an important thing because this will get people probably into wanting to make games.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, like you can just give it to a little kid. It'll be complicated and stuff, but you can kind of show them the rope. They make simple things, and then they love it. They just grow up with that and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It just seems to be really skipping over the tech knowledge that you need to actually make games and just be like, hey, here it is, like just go at it. And
Which
it's very simple for people who don't know.
I think that's where it'll live and die is, like I said, it needs to feel like, even while I'm making some like pretty crazy stuff that I never thought I could make, it still needs to feel like I'm playing a game. Like I don't need to go to read up on classes to do this. You know, it needs to not feel like me trying to use Premiere Pro or something for the first time. It needs to feel like I'm just playing a game and it's just easy to do all that. But at the same time, someone who really knows what they're doing doesn't feel limited by it. It needs to try to like meet that happy medium that's hard to meet.
And again, I'm probably not gonna. Probably once the full release is here, try to maybe learn more to make some stuff. Like I am as of right now playing on getting this game.
I very well might too. I'm probably gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see what people say. But like, but
after I get my hands on, it's like I'll probably have fun going through, see what people create, being able to see the process of how people are creating things. You're able to. I mean, sure, there'll be more features. You're able to follow projects. Like, people are able to update the things. So, if you see something interesting, you can follow it and keep up with creators to see how their projects are going, which will be really cool. It's a basic feature, but that's something you need for this thing. And, again, I'm interested. I want to see how crazy people get this stuff. And it's, assuming, it's a $60 thing, you have infinite content. I mean,
infinite content.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Mario Maker, but a lot more variety.
Yeah, and you can collaborate on projects too. Yeah. So people can specialize in different things. Like, I make music, or I'm really good at making.
You've seen
art.
A whole bunch of them. Like some of them a lot of them have descriptions saying, "Hey, music by," and then their username and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. People could get noticed through this.
Yeah, I've seen people do like a portal gun, like
concept.
Like,
there was this one really cool one that I played. It was you played as Clank. And it was just like a little puzzle thing, and that was fun.
So someone could make their portal gun. You could just download that and put it into your already existing game.
Yeah, there's also something cool. Again, I haven't messed with the much making stuff, so I don't know how exactly it all works. But yeah, people can upload their assets to it if they so choose, and people can take that. You can even, if people wanted to, have their levels. You could take their levels and mess around with them.
And so, for what you've seen, do you think, like, are most of the assets and characters and stuff you've seen, are they, like, from a built-in Dreams character creator? Or is it, like, it's people are putting in 3D models?
It's, like, code.
So, I mean, like, that's, I guess...
Yeah, like, there are some Media Molecules, like, preset things, and then it's, like, this little cone. I think their name's Connie or something, who's just a cone. That you can use, and you could use that as your character in the game. Yeah, or you can make it, again, I played as a 3D Cuphead.
Yeah. But, like, if I was going in there to make something, idiot Darby would have to go in there and use whatever character creator or preset thing they have, I imagine, right?
Yeah, or if someone's
someone
someone has their characters uploaded and stuff. Because I saw in the character level thing, there's a T-Rex I put in. It's like, part of me is like, I want to download PT and then make it 3D and then put a T-Rex in there.
Yeah.
Jeff's like, Darby, I'd like to show you my game. I loaded it up and it's just 80 T-Rexes falling from the sky. It's a really good game, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've seen is that it's not like, Gary's mod where you have like all the preset stuff and you can just drop it. You can download other people's stuff, but there's not like the base game doesn't have like a bunch of preset textures.
So I guess
I think there are some preset things. I don't know how.
I'm sure.
Extensively, I probably should look more into that. But yeah, from what I've seen, if people like to, they can upload their stuff and you can
can someone like make a game and then make it public and you could download that and then add on to that?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
do you
what I
have
was
a
just saying.
template,
I think that is a thing. If people decide they can't. People can do that.
Okay.
I don't know how it does. Like as far as hey, do you like? Will they? Like if you remake something and upload it, will say originally made by blah blah blah. I don't know all that kind of stuff.
You know, I want to make a prediction that at some point, and this very well might not become true, and it would involve a bunch of different weird licensing things that could get strange, but like, I could potentially see one day there being a Dream store within Dreams or something that people can make money off of their creations in Dreams.
I feel like
it would have to be approved.
Something
it would have to be approved, so they're not using Goku and stuff.
Right.
But like, you know,
Yeah, I feel like that's something that's come up in interviews. Like when people have, obviously that's something people been on people's minds. They ask me in college that we're kind of figuring out all that stuff out.
Right
it's a
now,
complicated process.
Yeah, it's a weird legal.
I mean,
area.
I say I see this like a year from now if Dreams is highly successful. Like that, that's what I'm talking.
So
about.
I guess
Like,
something that's all from Dreams. Like it again, it's really cool. I think we're probably gonna go play that after this. I got it on my PS4.
Yeah, I want-
We're gonna because today's the last day of the beta.
let's
I
wrap
believe.
this up and go play Dreams.
Yeah, but it's a crazy thing, and I think that it's going to. I gotta imagine if they're doing this, hopefully they're at least planning on it coming out this year. Because after Days Gone, there's no other Sony thing kind of confirmed for this year. They got other options, but
I think it will.
I feel like it's time for Dreams,
I think
especially now that people got their hands on it. They're
time
gonna
to
want
dream.
it.
I beat you to it.
You beat me to it. Alrighty, well, let's quickly go through the next game, and then we're gonna have like the quickest news block we've ever had, probably axing some stories. This is just all game talk podcast, which I am not mad about. But I have a little bit more Persona 5 to talk about because I am so close to the end. And since I'm so close to the end, me and Jacob are definitely having the spoiler cast
happening.
soon. It's going to happen very soon. And who knows, that could be an hour and a half long of
It
just
probably will be.
probably will of just Persona 5 talk, completely unfiltered. It's going to be great.
Strap in.
Yeah. But boy, like I can't really talk too much about this because anything I want to say would be spoilers. But like I'll just say that like since the last time I've talked about Persona here, there's just been some awesome stuff that's happened like in the story that was just handled so much better than I thought that it would have. Not that like because Persona 5 definitely kind of has that lovable cheesy quality to it and that, like, you know, corny dialogue and stuff that you learn to love about it and everything. But like because of that, if you had kind of told me what some of the things that happened in the story would have been, I was like, I don't know how that's gonna go.
Right.
But it's like there's certain things that happen that I was like, there's something that happens and then you're basically not playing the game for like an hour. You're just like reading dialogue for like an hour. And I was like, I was so like, I was literally sitting up in my chair, like, what the hell is going on? Like,
You read every little like blurb twice.
Oh yeah, I kept going back to the text log and going up and rereading things and going back down and continuing. It was like for a game that already just had my like that I loved so much and I was so addicted to going through. The way that the story, it's not done yet, but the way that it's wrapped up here at the end has been so satisfying, and like I love that. I really was concerned with how much I love about Persona 5 that the ending would be not, the
payoff wouldn't be worth it,
right? And I guess it still might not. I'm not at the very end. There's still a lot of things happening right now, but at least the final act has probably been it's been the best part of the game. It's been really, really cool, and the palaces and just the combat and everything stayed good the whole time. But like it was definitely one of those things back in 2017 when I first started Persona. I was not as about like I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna like this, where the combat, I mean it at least feels like the combat is like 40 or 45% of the game or something, and then the rest is it feels like it's more heavily lent on the almost visual novel type social link thing. I don't know if it actually is. It might be closer to 50-50, but it at least feels like the split is less. But as it went on, I love both parts of the game so much, and they intersect in interesting ways. And the biggest part about it is just every single one of those characters, every single one of those confidants, like I ended up loving way more than I thought I would. And just the sheer amount of time I've spent with these characters, it feels like you could show me just a few lines of dialogue about something random, and I could probably guess which character it was just because
they're all very distinct.
They're very distinct.
So Darby, since you're not going to be able to get through all the confidants completely,
right?
Are you going to look up the ones you were not completed up on YouTube afterwards? Or
I'll
are you going to
probably replay this game at some point.
Okay.
Probably not immediately, and I did not expect me to be saying that, but now that I'm at the end of it, I totally get why people say this. And something I didn't know that Jacob said, that apparently on your second playthrough, all your social stats you get, they carry over. So you don't have to spend time building up your social stuff, because certain confidants are locked behind you have to be this certain level in like kindness or whatever else. Apparently in your second playthrough you just start where you left off, so that would definitely make things
I feel like
go
when we
a
talked
lot.
about this originally, Jacob told me the opposite. Weird.
No, it's all it's always been like that. And you also keep your personas too, so you just
I felt like I mentioned that, and then you're like, no, that wouldn't make sense because of
you don't keep your confidants; they start over, but you keep your social skills.
Yeah.
So
social.
Yep. So like if you meet, so like if you finish the game, and like so
No,
Jiro's level 5, you're
yeah.
not going to start the game
That's
over
what,
at level 5.
There's certain
So
confidants that I wasn't really realistically able to get to because I didn't get to the rank
like
of social.
gun shop or the weapon shop owner.
Right, like I didn't get
I
to
know
him.
his was like
It's pretty high, and there's several other ones. There's some
okay,
that
I got it now. Yeah, I was getting my turns mixed up.
I'm about to finish the game, and there's still one of them that I wanted to do, but it's like I never got to the social ranking.
Yeah, like the logic is that you can't be best friends with someone you just
No.
met.
That's what I was getting. I heard social, and I was thinking friendship. And
right.
That's my.
So I could see how, especially if you're like skipping some dialogue that you know and everything, and you have your personas, you have your social stat. I could see that second playthrough being pretty quick. You can kind of like get through
and you
it.
can. I mean,
if you really wanted to get through it, you could just put the game on easy. the game.
Well, I played a decent amount of the game already on easy. This one just to get through the thing.
Yeah.
But
And I mean, you can also start the game and summon, like a level 65 persona in the
Exactly.
first dungeon.
yeah, this first dungeon is probably just destroying everyone. Like,
Yeah.
the whole way.
True.
Yeah, which I was already destroying a lot of people because I did play a good bit of it on easy. I'm not ashamed about that because it already took me 130 hours to get through it even on easy. I mean, 30 of those hours were back in 2017. I left the game on for some of that time, but I would be so like I enjoyed the pace I was able to go through this game on easy, and it wasn't like so mind-numbingly easy. I still had to think about things, and especially boss fights. It was like if I just like didn't do anything, I would have died. But
yeah, I'm that way actually with Dragon Quest. I turned the hard enemies off.
Yeah.
At a certain point because I didn't want to grind for like.
And just weirdly enough, like I got to the point where I love the combat, but I was just like so invested in the story that I really didn't want to just be sitting here and like beating my head against the wall to beat something. It was like I just want to keep going because like the story was just moving at such a clip, and like this is becoming like one of my favorite this is probably one of my favorite like cast of characters in a game that I can remember. I mean, every one of them, even the ones that I would have like thought at first would be annoying, like. I don't know, Haru was one in particular. Like at first I was like, I don't really know about like she just seems a bit annoying, but then like as it went on I was like, no, I love all of them. Mm-hmm. They're all like amazing.
Would have you played Persona 4?
No, this is my first Persona.
Okay, well
I'm very interested in playing Persona 4 now.
Yeah, and 3
super interested.
Yeah, it will be harder
Or
to go back
Golden
to
to Switch.
Yeah.
That's or at least PS4.
That's the thing. It's Golden. The most recent thing is PS3 that it's on, right?
Vita. It's Vita.
Oh, I thought it was 3 and Vita. Okay, I don't know.
I think Vanilla 4 is on 3.
Yeah, but don't play Vanilla 4. If you have to, that's fine. But like the Golden version is definitely
the only thing that worries me is isn't the
go.
palaces like aren't they all just like kind of the randomly generated stuff? Like kind of like mementos.
Not quite. So Persona 3 is definitely mementos. It's called Tartarus. It's pretty much that. 4 is they are specific dungeons with their own little style going for them, but their layout is very kind of bland. I guess they're not as visually interesting as say Persona 5.
That just worries me because like mementos. it never really got better was full stop the most boring part of Persona 5 to me. I just really didn't enjoy the randomly generated thing, and it just felt like every single level I'm going down on this looks the same. There's a few monsters, a few chests, and I go to the next one, and it just takes so long to get through them, and like nothing really changes. So like Mementos I did not like, and that worries me.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't like the randomly generated aspect of it very much.
Yeah, I mean, Persona 5 definitely is the best as far as gameplay. Absolutely. Like, no question.
I would expect that. Yeah.
And as far as the confidants go, I think they're also, maybe not necessarily the best confidants, but they're the best implemented. And, like, as far as, like, the structure and gameplay of it goes.
No.
But 4 and 3, obviously, a lot older games, so there is a bit of, it will be hard at points to go back to those, but their characters, the music, the story, those are all still really good.
And I still just like, there's no game that has a better style than this. And I will comfortably say I think this is probably the best soundtrack I've ever had in the game. I've been like the last like 3 weeks straight, I've been listening to it in the car. I'll pull up some YouTube video just listening to it.
Soundtrack and Smash.
And that doesn't count, Jeff. Yeah,
I'm saying that soundtrack.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pulling up.
No.
Because you did do that last year, and I think that's a cop out. With Smash being your favorite soundtrack, I think that's a cop out. Yeah. But
Kingdom Hearts 3 be a cop out because it's Disney stuff.
No, the fact that like back in November or back in December or whatever with the Game Awards, that I freaked out that much then about Joker being announced. It's like the hype is so much more now than it even was then.
Yeah, you finished the palace in December.
Yeah, so I'm in the next big section after the one that I told you I finished. Yeah. So that should be the last big section, right?
That theme for the boss in the
yes.
Like we were talking about the music.
I had already heard it a number of times because I listened to the soundtrack on YouTube.
Right.
So that wasn't my first time hearing that. They didn't play that song before, did they? I think
no,
that was the only time that song slaps.
Really good. really good.
It's still the Palace before that main theme I think is still my favorite song in the game. But
yeah, that's a good one.
And
too.
it's so because they repeat this music so much, but you still love it every time, and it makes it so that whenever they have a new song, it feels like, oh yeah, this is awesome because it'll like you'll go somewhere and it'll be a completely different style of music for this section, and just playing this game makes me want to get into visual design and stuff like that because like just everything about it is just so interesting. Every like tiny little menu is like crazy lines going everywhere, and it's great.
The music in Persona has always been really good. One of my favorite moments is actually in Persona 3 when you start the new semester and you get a new song for that. It's just a very minor thing, but it just changes the feeling of.
I do think that might have been something they could have done, is like change some of those repeated ones at some point just to signify a change. But at the same time, I was 100 and something hours in, I was still like humming along to all these songs every time they played. And I mean, music, if you listen to this podcast with me, music is arguably one of the most important parts of video games for me, and that's what Persona 5. Yeah, if the music was not what it was, this game would be significantly worse for me. It's like part of the thing. The whole style of Persona is a big deal. And I am so like I'm going to try 4 now. Like I love this game too much that I'm going to try it at some point.
But you gotta try the dancing games.
Honestly, I like kind of, if they weren't $60, if they were like $20, if the Persona 5 game, if it wasn't a $60 game, I might. Because I do like the remix soundtrack. I've listened to that a lot too. But.
I don't have the 5 dancing game, but I have the 4 one, so you can borrow that if you want.
I would be mostly just interested in the 5 just because of.
Plus, we could do it in VR.
Yeah,
some VR mode thing in there. I don't know.
It's probably really bad.
Yeah, those dancing games, they're fun like the first time, but.
I feel like it would get old pretty fast. I should probably just let my Persona 5 hype cool down and realize that would be a bad decision, and instead just listen.
Just hype up. Just be hyped for Joker and Smash.
I'm so hyped, man. Instead, I'll just listen to the soundtrack of the rhythm game, which is honestly what I want most from it. Anyway,
that's really the reason.
That's the biggest reason.
They're not even that great rhythm games mechanically. So.
And then the story, I know, is just some kind of batshit crazy. It's just like. It's a dream, basically. Yeah. It's like you're dancing in the Velvet Room in this dream. Super strange. Yeah. Super strange. Jeff, you need to get to this game at some point. I can't believe that I'm the one that ended up beating it because you were a lot ahead of me. But I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But
now I'm waiting for that Switch version.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. That could be
It's
where my
happening.
second playthrough happens. But again, that'd be a lot of money to spend for just that. But we'll see. And if I do my second playthrough there, I wouldn't be able to carry over my stats, obviously.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah. So I'm probably locked in on PlayStation now. But
Yep.
Joker and Smash, that'll be my Switch persona. And look forward to that Spoilercast because like having to talk about this game without spoilers kills me. Like I want to just
Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts.
I
as soon
want
as
to
you
just
beat
open.
it,
Yeah, I
let me
want to
know.
open up with Jacob and just go
I
for
feel
a
you,
full
man. Kingdom
thing.
Hearts. I want to
I
talk
know.
about shit.
I know.
Even if it's me talking to you and you being like, "What the hell?"
We can honestly do that. If you want to do the full spoiler like episode thing, I will sit here and be a attentive audience. For
I was
you.
tempted to do release some, but Jacob was here, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, Kingdom Hearts is not really a series that I necessarily care about spoilers, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
Like, I could hear about something and, like, play it and then just feel the same way. If that makes any sense.
No, I feel you.
Like, it wouldn't detract from my enjoyment.
You're not like me and completely into this mumbo jumbo.
I am a little bit into the mumbo jumbo, but it's more about, like,
Embrace the mumbo
Yeah.
jumbo.
it's more about the
Jacob.
presentation of it all and seeing it in
Yeah.
action.
All right, Jeff. An hour and 30 minutes in. Let's get into the news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle.
All right, Jeff, let's really just pick the ones that are most important. Let's just say what happened with Quantic Dream and move on to the Epic Games Store. Like, don't read that whole thing.
Okay, so long story short, I guess I have to at least look a little bit. The Chinese giant NetEase has acquired a minority stake in Quantic Dream, the developer behind Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain, and ultimately going multi-platform with feature releases. That's pretty much the main part of the story. So, next Quantic Dream game will most likely not be
PlayStation exclusive.
PlayStation exclusive. Probably because Sony helped pay for that, but now Quantic Dream has other people to help pay for their stuff, so they have no reason to go or be exclusive. So,
Yeah.
that's how that goes. Exciting for them.
All right.
Interested to see.
This is the one we should actually talk about.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll read this one because of the multi-parts to it. Okay. This comes from Colin Stevens from IGN. Epic Games and D Silver announced today, or this when this article is written, that the digitally distributed PC version of Metro Exodus will be released exclusively through the Epic Game Store, issuing Steam for everyone who hasn't already pre-ordered it. In a notice on the official Metro Exodus Steam page, it was revealed that later today, sales of Metro Exodus will be discontinued on Steam due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. That PC store, of course, is the Epic Game Store, which has been attracting various developers by taking a relatively small 12% revenue share of sales through the service. As such, the game will be selling for $50 to North America through the Epic Game Store. The notice reads, "We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15 release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know." End quote. If the customers already bought the game through Steam, D Silver will fulfill all prior sales of the game through the service, and those customers will be able to access the game and future updates as DLC through Steam as well. The press release provided by D Silver confirmed that customers with outstanding digital pre-orders on PC through non-Epic retailers will receive the game expected, and this is something I added from further context and all that kind of stuff, information. THQ Nordic posted on Twitter that the decision was made by Koch Media, which is a step above Deep Silver in the corporate hierarchy, adding, "We do not want to categorically exclude the possibility of timed exclusives for any of our games in the future, but speaking in the here and now, we definitely want to have the players choose the platform they're liking and make our portfolio available as many outlets as possible." One other thing, I mentioned timed exclusive there. Metro Exodus is going to be available on Steam in 2020.
Yeah.
It has pretty much just
So it's a year
time
exclusivity
exclusive, yeah.
for the Epic Game Store. So, I'm very conflicted about this, and we've kind of like touched on this before because it was Division was the most recent game before this to get taken off of Steam and put on exclusively on Epic Game Store. I think in the long run, I think the Epic Game Store is a good thing to have established in the like PC market, just because of they have a better split for developers, and just they can, you know, to have an alternative to Steam so that Steam doesn't just have a monopoly on the market. I think ultimately that's a good thing. And I think the only way that they can establish themselves is through some pretty hardcore means, which is what they're doing. They have to get games. They have to get games that will bring people over there, because just saying we're going to give developers more money is not going to be enough to get people to leave a platform that they're used to on, like spending money on. And I'm not blaming those people. Like, it's, you have a system and you're more convenient there, and I understand that. So like, it's one of those things that the outcome, I think, will be a good thing in the long run. To me, just predicting it, I think eventually we won't even be thinking about this. It'll just be the Epic Game Store is a thing, Steam's a thing, and it'll just be something that happens. Some games are over here, some games are over here, some games are both. Just like
a lot of games will be on both.
Yeah, most games will be on both, and just like it is with consoles, some games are PlayStation, some games are Xbox. A lot are both. But at the same time, in the moment right now, it does kind of suck that Epic's kind of just throwing their money around, and there's people that like, yeah, this is a game that was on pre-order for Steam for months, and then suddenly it's not anymore. Suddenly it's that's gone over here, and it's very obviously because like Epic is just throwing a bunch of money to make this happen,
especially with the whole year exclusivity.
Yeah, and I think this is the only way Epic establishes themselves, so that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, this rubs me the wrong way. I just, the fact that, you know, people who pre-ordered it should be able to play it, should be able to play it and buy it through Steam, and not, have to switch.
Well, the people who pre-ordered it are getting it on Steam.
Right, but is that the platform they are buying it through, or are they buying it through the Epic Game Store and just simply playing it through the Steam launcher?
No, I'm pretty sure, unless I got it wrong, if you have pre-ordered it before the Switch happened on Steam, you just get it on Steam normally, like anyone else does. Unless I had it wrong, I think it's like, if you're going to buy it now, you have to buy an Epic Game Store. But if you had bought it previously, it'll just be Steam.
Yeah, it's just a messy.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's just a messy thing that I'm primarily play on consoles, so I don't really have.
All three do.
Yeah. But I feel like this is starting. Like, Epic Game Store is starting to make a trend that could become very kind of just gross in business practices, where they are buying games outright from other things. It just, I don't know. Like,
this is kind of like when, at this point, when Microsoft got Tomb Raider for the year.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean,
it's the same process, but I guess context is at least a little different.
No, it's a similar situation. It's something that like didn't necessarily need to happen. And I mean, again, like I said, I'd like to think that developers are getting a better split here. When like Epic has enough money from Fortnite mostly, and just everything they're doing, to where they can afford to give developers a better cut than Steam is. But like I said, even that being said, like, just that was not going to be enough to build the store. Getting exclusive games will get people over there, build Epic Game Store, and ideally it'll still be a better place for developers. On the consumer end,
I mean, there's that QR code thing where influencers can be like, hey, go buy this game on Epic Game Store. Here's my QR code, and I'm going to get a percentage of that from games, from the game that you buy. Which for big games, not a big deal. Smaller indie titles can be
much bigger. Fran Marabella does that.
Yeah. So that it's kind of there are things that are coming, I think, to light about the Epic Game Store and their practices that, to me at least, are just kind of, it's not as like, oh, great competition from Steam.
What would be the competition mindset with this, or would have been the best case for this is Metro is also going to be on Epic Game Store, but still does the $50 thing. But because of the cut, but $60 on Steam, so people get to choose, hey, do I still do on Steam, or do I go on the Epic Game Store because I want $10? pay $10 less.
Yeah, I think that probably would have been the better move. Is that we're not taking this away from you, but hey, it's cheaper over here. It's like why don't you come over here and spend $50 instead of $60? So
that would
people
be competition in this scenario.
Yeah, that would probably be better and feel less money heading. But
yeah, I mean, I just want Epic Games Store to put pressure on Steam and be successful because they do things better than they have a better storefront. They do things better than Steam beyond the simple developer gets more of a percentage.
Which and I mean, from what a lot of people have said, and I don't play with these enough to know, but people have said that the Epic Game Store is just missing a ton of like quality of life stuff that the Steam Store has, and part of that is because Epic Game Store is still very new and figuring that out. But that's not an excuse because they're competing with Steam. Like, you are on this market competing with someone. It doesn't matter that you're early. You're on this market competing with another developer, and you're not giving people a choice. You're making people come to you, so your service should be comparable. Yeah.
Like, I just rather Epic Game Store become successful because it is a better service and not because it is just throwing around its money from Fortnite to buy exclusives or yank exclusives from other platforms.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if things are like I think except like maybe Hades, that's the game. It's kind of fine with it now says it's an exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, you can have exclusives.
I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm saying that's better compared to what happened with this and yanking it a month or 3 weeks before release.
Yeah,
and future games are going. There's going to be more Epic exclusives that are announced as just Epic exclusives. That's definitely going to happen. Yeah,
but again, just don't like. It would suck if like we pre-ordered a game on PlayStation and granted PC, but some people just don't want multiple launchers on their computer, which is I think is totally reasonable for PC. But like, say if we pre-ordered a game on like PlayStation and then like it got yanked and put on something else, like I don't know. I know that's not completely comparable, but I think it is still a valid point.
But I mean, also, I don't know, just to play devil's advocate, I mean, in the console space, we do this a lot where it's like, I love Insomniac games, and I've played all of them on PlayStation and stuff, and then suddenly Sunset Overdrive was on Xbox, and it's like, well, I don't have an Xbox. That sucks. I mean, like, these things happen a lot where it's like in the time exclusivity thing with Tomb Raider, like he was saying, like Xbox paid money to get that to happen. Nintendo paid money with Bayonetta, and now Bayonetta is like exclusively on Nintendo platforms. Like this type of stuff happens a lot in the console space, where things are tied to a specific company because they paid more money than the other ones.
Well, to be fair for Bayonetta, it's different because Nintendo helped pay for development.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's like
for Tomb Raider, Microsoft money had it that like this.
I mean, I'm just saying this happens in the console space where developers make the decision. Like, this company is giving me money to have this. I'm going to make the decision to publish only here. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this feels like something that happens decently often in the console space. It just doesn't happen in the PC space. But at the same time, in the console space, when that happens, that's another $300 box I have to go buy. Mm-hmm. In the PC space, when that happens, that's a free app I have to download. It just doesn't seem as bad to me.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's as bad, but again, like, if you want to play it on Steam and you pre-ordered it, and like up until now, you thought you were going to play it on Steam, like, it just kind of sucks to be like, no, you can't unless you pre-ordered it. But a lot of people, of course, I think, are rightfully opposed to pre-ordering. And honestly, we should also stop pre-ordering games.
We should. So it's not gonna stop.
Again,
I got over a dozen games pre-ordered on Best Buy.
It's not gonna stop, but
that's another can of worms. But
I mean,
that's the point that like
I've been guilty of doing it before. But there is something messed up about giving people money before they even prove what their product is. But that's something that's gonna happen. I don't know. I mean, like, I do think that was the wrong move with how close this game was and to snatch it up like that. But future games, I don't think is going to be.
Well, let's end this conversation on a potentially happy note. You posted something on social media saying you are hyped for Metro Exodus. I know we're going from kind of a serious thing to a more fun thing, but I'm just kind of curious about this anyway. Where's your hype level for Metro?
I mean, I would. It's not like I'm not like I'm gonna get this game no matter what right now. I'm still gonna wait to kind of see what people say about it. But I think that trailer in particular, they like kind of went deeper into the mechanics of the world, and like it is a lot more open world than it kind of seemed like before, and there's some like RPG stuff, customizing weapons, doing all this. None of it necessarily looks like anything crazy new. It looks like stuff I've seen in other games before, but it was just, I was already interested in this kind of post-apocalyptic Russia world, and then like now it looks like a lot of games that I enjoy, like open world first-person shooter where you can change a bunch of stuff and do all of this, and there's like a hub world like in your train where you talk to other characters. Like all these things seem like it's speaking my language, and I was already interested in this world. So it's like I don't foresee Metro Exodus being like my game of the year or anything, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun, and I just think that was a really good trailer. I think so. Yeah, I don't know, but where are you at with Metro Exodus?
I mean, I'm interested, but it's not. I'm not going to get it when it comes out.
No. I'll have to see, but I'm definitely a lot more interested now than I was before.
Cool.
And I already was decently interested.
Okay, well, we already did the Resident Evil stuff, so let's get to this.
Let's just blow through this, Jeffrey.
This comes from Adam Bankhurst from IGN. Dragon Ball game Project Z, an action RPG. That's like the whole title, you know? All that. No, just kidding. That looks to follow the story of Goku.
Are you sure it's not projects?
No, there's a space. The story of Goku and Dragon Ball Z is headed to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC later this year. No Switch. Shame. Revealed during the Red Bull Final Summoning Dragon Ball Fighters tournament, Dragon Ball game Project Z will see players discover the story of the mysterious Dragon Balls and join Goku and fellow warriors in never-ending search for the ultimate fight. The reveal trailer features such characters as Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Frieza, and many more as iconic scenes and locations from Dragon Ball were showcased. Dragon Ball game Project Z is developed by CyberConnect 2, developers of such games as the Naruto Shippuden series, or more accurately, the Ninja Storm series, and the Dot Hack series, and will feature both Japanese and English voiceovers. Also, this is something I added. In Dragon Ball FighterZ news, this stuff was also announced at the Dragon Ball FighterZ Championship thing. Season 2 of DLC was announced. 4 of the 6 characters were also announced along with it. Jiren and Videl are the first set and available right now. The other 2 were announced were Broly and Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta from the new movie. Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Was that exciting?
Exciting? Yeah, I guess I'll just say my thoughts on this real quick and we're going to move on since I'm the only one who really cares. The Project Z thing looked cool. Graphics look pretty, but it's going through the whole same first arcs of Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyan, the Frieza saga we've done a million times. You can walk around the world some. Cool. I'm going to need to see more.
Okay. Is it associated with Dragon Ball FighterZ? Like, is it the same art style or anything? Or?
No.
Okay.
It's just they announced here because new Dragon Ball game is exciting or whatever. It kind of looks like the Naruto Shippuden series, which awesome. That's how that art style is how the 3D anime game should look.
Right.
So that's exciting. But the whole thing of me having to play through the Saiyan and Frieza arc because it only showed those 2 arcs again is not the most appealing thing right now. The gameplay is excellent and everything, maybe, but
it's like going back to Kanto.
Pretty much, but even more. I've done it even more times. The Dragon Ball Fighter news is really exciting. This was a good motivation for me to want to get back in. Jiren, cool, expected it. Well, I talked about that. Videl was an exciting pick.
Yeah.
Uses the Great Saiyaman for her moves. That looks really dope, though I can understand the whole complaints of, hey, this is only the 3rd DLC or female character in the game, and 2 out of 3 now have men backing them up. This is one of those things like, it's just an unfortunate thing, but that's unfortunately Dragon Ball. Broly and Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, I figured these 2 were coming. I'm okay with it. The movie was really good.
Did y'all see it?
Yeah, we saw it last week. This Broly's an actual character I actually like. That's a good thing.
And
that's
a lot different than the last.
Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. It's like, oh boy, another Goku and Vegeta. But
aren't you pumped?
It depends what they do with the moveset, because he at least does a bunch of different things they can do, so that's whatever. I'm interested to see who the other 2 are. I swear if it's Ultra Instinct Goku. But because of this, I was hyped. So before Kingdom Hearts, I was gonna play some fighters because I went ahead and bought Android 17 and cooler from the last DLC pack. I can't find my disc.
Oh no.
Like, I have my Dragon Ball case and it's just empty. I looked through all my other cases to see if it was just put in there while we switched game. I can't find it.
Uh-oh.
So that sucks.
You're welcome to look around my house, and I don't know why it would be there, but
I don't know why it would be there either. I'm going to ask my sister. And if that all fails, I love to say it on the podcast, but screw it. Alex and Olivia have 2 copies they're probably not using.
I'm sure they'll let you borrow.
So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, moving on. I'll just say this is a quick thing that I'm going to talk about.
That's a very big thing.
Yeah, big thing. I guess it's kind of cool Jacob's here for this.
Yeah.
Jotaro Kujo and Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 3 specifically, were officially announced as playable characters for Jump Force, by the way. Dio also brought his iconic steamroller to the party.
As you should.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
as you should.
So those are finally announced, finally. So
Not surprising.
all I need is Gintoki, and I am set. For the most part.
You think that's gonna be all the JoJo?
I can see them adding like a Part 4/Part 5 character as DLC. But
Part 5 would be fun because it's just topical.
I know a lot of people were upset Part 5 wasn't in there, but I don't know why people were expecting that, considering...
Weirdly enough, Part 5 is the most popular part in Japan.
Oh, I agree, but they're looking at this from more of a Western lens for the character choices, and Part 5 is just barely they're about halfway through the anime, but it's kind of fresh and kind of new to us. We haven't gone through the whole thing, so it makes sense to have Jotaro and Dio, I think, as the characters. You can argue maybe they, preferring Part 4 and, putting those in, but Jotaro and Dio, I'd argue, at least to a Western audience, the most iconic. Mortal Kombat news is just a quick thing. Kano is officially announced as a playable character.
Hell yeah.
One of the characters we figure were going to be in there.
It's movie Kano, though, right?
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
He even looks more Australian. Like
we didn't know it was possible. I'm gonna make an executive decision because I want to be able to actually talk about it. Let's save the Nintendo news for next week so that we can actually get into it in an adequate way.
Fine.
I'm sorry, Jeff, but we need to get going.
Okay.
So we're gonna end it off with.
Okay. We got the PlayStation Plus, Xbox Games with Gold, and Twitch Prime game stuff. Okay, PlayStation Plus games for February. For Honor, Hitman Season 1, both of the PS4, Dive Kick for PS3 and Vita, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots for PS3, Gunhouse for PS4 and Vita, and Rogue Aces for PS4 and Vita. Additional notes. This will be the last month PlayStation 3 and Vita games will be available with PlayStation Plus. And Sony also announced they will be expanding their cloud storage for PlayStation Plus from 10 gigabytes to 100 gigabytes.
PS3 is going out with a bang, right?
Yeah,
with Guns of the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, MGS4 was like the big console seller for PlayStation when it came out in 2008. And that's very fitting as the final game.
That's a pretty good final game for PlayStation. Yep. And For Honor is also really fun.
And Hitman.
And Hitman. All those are really good.
And I think you can download Hitman Season 1 and then import all that stuff to Hitman Season 2.
Which is
and
very
play
cool.
with the new fresh coat of paint and all that stuff. Okay, Xbox Gamer Gold. We got Bloodstained Curse of the Moon for Xbox One. Super Bomberman R for Xbox One. Kind of weird. Bloodstained paired with a Konami game.
Yeah, that is funny.
But no, Bloodstained for Curse of the Moon. Here's great. Super Bomberman, just a fun multiplayer game. Fun addition. Assassin's Creed Rogue for Xbox 360. I have no idea which one that is. And Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy for Xbox One, Xbox 360. I think that was an Xbox original game.
I want to play Curse of the Moon at some point, and I want to go back and play the Castlevania games that didn't. Like, I want to at least play Symphony of the Night and everything. I just feel like that's
and Twitch Prime, which I just happened to be on Twitch and noticed they were there. Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition, Downwell, which I've heard good things about, The Flame and the Flood, and Drachnik & Co. Puzzle Collection.
Drachnik & Co.
Drachnik.
Cool.
No, these are good list of games across the board.
Yeah, that was a good month
for all involved.
Did everyone get their Twitch Prime games when they had like Celeste and Messenger and all that? Because those were really good.
Celeste was on Xbox.
Oh, okay. Well, Messenger, whatever.
I don't have Twitch Prime.
But do you have Amazon Prime?
No.
Okay.
Never mind.
Amazon doesn't need my money. They're also a slimy corporation.
They are definitely. They are absolutely.
My mom just has the Amazon Prime, so I just use that.
I wish I was a better person, but convenience is nice.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Like Darby said, we got a bunch of Nintendo information, but I guess we're holding that off for later.
I mean, Jeff, I don't want to talk about that in just like 5 minutes. I want to be able to open up.
We can open up, Darby.
Not right now.
Okay.
We're going to save that for next week.
Well, I'll add this since this is kind of relevant. To say this, Piranha Plant is out, people.
Piranha Plant is out. Go.
Do those sick pot drop kicks.
Yes.
Drop pots.
Now, this also brings up some exciting, things potential for whenever we actually do get a Nintendo Direct. Mm-hmm. So that means whenever we actually see Smash news in the Direct, it's going to be Joker. Like we're not gonna see a Smash logo, and it's just gonna be Piranha Planet release date. It's gonna be we see Joker and maybe the next character. So that's exciting.
I need him now. I need it now, right now. And I hope it's not Mementos for the stage.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah.
I hope not, too. I say Kamoshida's Palace or something. Like
yeah, that's
iconic enough because it's the first one. It's the one everyone's seen.
Yeah.
Or Shibuya Square.
Shibuya Square
that would be
really
amazing.
Good.
I don't think
think
they'll do that, but that would probably be what I'd want the most. But that's probably
you can do like a transitioning stage.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you could do that.
definitely.
Could do that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. That was a really good episode. I know that it was very heavy on what the things we've been playing, but they were some very good games.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I was the most topical with my 2017 RPG.
Yep.
All right. Go Rams.
Go Kingdom Hearts.
Look forward to the Persona 5 Spoilercast. Goodbye.